going on, everybody? Welcome to the Freedom Fire Podcast, where we want to stoke the flames of freedom every single day. My name is Kendall Bowman. I got a loaded show for you guys today, but before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section, and share the show with your friends. Follow me on all the socials down in the description, and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever we're putting out new videos. All right, guys, we got a crazy story for you guys today. Because apparently AOC thinks that parents having more freedom is somehow fascism. Not really sure how that works, but let's read. AOC argues it's fascism for parents to be informed about what the government is teaching their kids. Hilarious. The Congresswoman was speaking about the bill H.R. 5, a parental rights in education bill that passed through the House on Friday. Let's listen to what she has to say, shall we?
They are asking the Republican Party to keep culture wars out of classrooms. Our children need urgent and aggressive educational solutions. The American Library Association coming out against this Republican proposal.
Of course they would. They're backed by the teachers' unions.
When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism. Thank you
Gentleman's
very much.
time has expired. The gentleman from...
Goodness gracious. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's continue reading, guys. Under the legislation, teachers must also inform parents if their child wants to change their gender identity. There it is, guys. There's the big hullabaloo. There's the big thing that everybody... This is the issue. She doesn't actually think this is fascism. She doesn't. She's just saying this because it's a buzzword that the left loves to use. Anything they don't like, anything that goes against their agenda, it's all fascism. It's all hate. It's all evil. It's whatever you want to say. It's a buzzword, and she doesn't actually believe it. Because if you look at what history tells us, fascism was the government overreaching and nationalizing everything. This is giving the parents more freedom and giving them more control over their own children and taking away the control from the government. Let's continue to read. The Parents' Bill of Rights has 5 pillars to ensure parents have the right to have a voice in their kids' education. The right to know what's being taught in schools and to see reading material, right to be heard, right to see school budget and spending, right to protect their child's privacy, and right to be updated on any violent activity at school. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy said of the bill. All of that sounds perfectly reasonable. Not a single Democrat voted in favor of the proposed legislation. Reps Matt Rosendale, Ken Buck, Matt Gaetz, and Andy Biggs, and Michael Aller also voted against it. Rep Biggs told the Daily Mail that he voted against the bill and the rest of his party because it violates the principles of federalism and the federal government is already too involved in education issues. Now, since I'm doing this video, the bill has actually been passed. It has passed the House and is on its way to the Senate, where it's likely going to die because the Democrats don't want you to be able to know what's going on in your kid's life while they're at school. To say and speak about government reach and freedom, this Republican bill is asking the government to force the outing of LGBT people before they are ready, said Ocasio-Cortez. See, that's the thing. They want to be able to buddy up with your kids and get them to let's groom them into thinking they're LGBT. And then get them to come out to us. That way we can continue to groom them and meddle in their life and and then we can put them on puberty blockers and then we can get them to transition. It's a whole grooming tactic, and it's going on behind closed doors right where you can't see it. To say and speak, I already read that. Ocasio-Cortez continued on to accuse those concerned about what their children are being taught of fascism. When we talk about progressive values, I can say what my progressive value is, and that is freedom over fascism. The New York Congresswoman continued, keep the culture wars out of classrooms. Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has claimed that the bill will not pass through the Senate. And there you have it, guys. There you have it. Like I said, check this out. Check this out. Once again, I'm going to read this. I'm going to read this because this is important. She wants to tell you the lie that you having more control, that you having control over your child's over what's happening with your child on a daily basis, which is your responsibility anyways. She wants to tell you that you having that control and taking that control away from the government is somehow fascism. When in reality, let's go back and look at what happened in fascist Italy under Mussolini. Let's go back and look at what happened in fascist Germany under Hitler. All of the things in society, everything, the schools, the churches, the scientific institutions, all of the businesses, all of the manufacturing, everything was nationalized and taken over by the government. You taking things away from the government, taking power away from the government, that's called a republic. That's called freedom. That's called having power that the government doesn't have. That's not fascism. And these are the things that we are trying to get, and they are keeping from you. The Parents' Bill of Rights has 5 pillars to ensure parents have the right to have a voice in their kids' education. Once again, the right to know what's being taught in schools and to see reading materials. That's important because they have all kinds of pornographic books in these schools that are being shown to kids. I can't even show them to you because I would get banned off of YouTube. It's absolutely insane. These are books where if you go on Amazon to try to order them, it shows 18 and up because of the material that's inside of the book, but they're being shown to middle schoolers. It's absolutely insane. Second right, the right to be heard. You'll be able to go to the school and have an audience with the teachers and the principals and whoever you need to talk to be able to figure out what's going on with your kid. The right to see school budget and spending. This is important. These are your taxpayer dollars that are being spent in these schools. We need to be able to know where our money is going and how it's being spent. Next, the right to protect their child's privacy. Very important. And the right to be updated on any violent activity at school. That goes without saying. We are putting our trust in these people to protect our kids. These are our kids. We are putting the trust in these people, and they're not even informing us if there was a fight or if there was. Guys, I grew up in public school. From third grade all the way up to my freshman year in high school, I was in public school. Before that, in first and second, I was in private school. My parents couldn't afford it anymore, so I went to public school. And guys, there was fights almost every day. It's bad. It's bad, and it's really ridiculous because you'll see a video about it on Twitter or something. You'll see like a video of a fight that's going on in a public school, and you see the comments is like, oh, this isn't even that big of a deal. I saw bigger fights every day at my school. And like, yeah, that's a problem. Like, do we not realize as a society that we're paying for this? Like, our tax dollars go to these schools where these fights are happening, where kids are being beaten and abused every single day. Why? And then we sit there and we act like, it's just every day. That's just what public schools are. No, that doesn't have to be what public schools are. It doesn't have to be that. And that leads me to this, guys. We need school choice. And I'm not talking about school vouchers, okay? I'm not talking about vouchers. I'm talking about universal school choice, okay? We need to have the parents have an ESA, an education savings account, okay? And the tax dollars that they spend go directly into that education savings account, and the parent gets to choose away from the government how that money gets spent when it comes to their child's education. Now, obviously, that money would not be allowed to be used for, buying booze and cigarettes at the gas station. That's not what it would be used for. It would only be used for either sending your kid to a public school, a private school, or buying homeschooling supplies and curriculum. Okay? That is what we need, because we need competition, we need fair competition in the education marketplace. And there is none right now. What we have right now is a monopoly by the government public schools. And you can say, oh, well, that's not true because you can send your kid to private school right now. Yeah, if you're rich, if you can pay, $2,000 a month to send your kid to public school, 99% of us can't afford that. Private schools have always been for the 1%. Always, because the 1% can afford it. The 99% can't. So, if you want to say that there's not a monopoly for the 1%, sure, I'll give you that. For the 99%, there absolutely is a monopoly. It's completely ridiculous. That argument does not hold up to scrutiny. And then you've got homeschooling. We've seen a lot of this sexualization of children, not just in public schools, but also in some private schools. Because you got to understand, some of these private schools are also under the control of the teachers' unions. And the teachers' unions have been pushing this type of stuff as well. And it's unacceptable. That is why homeschool needs to be one of the options that is available through these ESAs and through universal school choice. And if it wasn't any more clear on why we need school choice, we got this story here from Timcast once again. North Carolina teacher reportedly stripped of her visa after taping 11-year-old boy's mouth shut for talking during class. No charges have been filed against the former Smithfield middle school teacher, Dawn Felix. Felix was hired by the district in August as part of a program to bring in international teaching candidates to fill gaps due to the teacher shortage. On February 14th, Catherine Webster received a text from her son showing the tape and telling her he did not know what to do. So here he is. His mouth has been very overly taped. He says, I don't know what to do. And his mom says, what is that? Who did that? Who did that? Is that tape? I'm on my way. That is a very ticked off mother. And right now, that mother has no recourse for this. All she can do is come up to the school and just yell at people. But at the end of the day, the people at the school don't have to listen to her because they don't have any rights. The parents don't have any rights over these schools. And she has no ability to be able to take her kid out of this school and to be able to put them in another school using a school choice ESA. She has no ability to do that because obviously public schools are going to be more of the same of this crap, and private schools are too expensive, and she probably has to work, so she can't do homeschool. This is absolutely ridiculous, guys. Webster alleges that the teacher has done this to at least 3 students since being hired. That is insane. That she's done this to 3 students already, and that this is the only one that they actually found out about, and it took finding out about this one to find out about the others. She has been doing it for a couple months to numerous children, and according to My Child, a detective with Johnston County Sheriff's Department and other classmates, she also sometimes taped their wrists together. Webster wrote on Facebook, this was an ongoing thing in her classroom and always without a call to parents about their children's behavior, at least mine and one other parent I know, and potentially a third. Webster acknowledged that her son had had behavioral issues in school and that she had met with other teachers in the past to work on ways to handle that, but says Felix never contacted her. That's the problem, guys. Here's the thing. If my kid's in a school, okay, and they're having behavioral issues, and they are legitimately the problem, okay? And if my child is legitimately the problem, I'm going to bring them home, I'm going to discipline them, and I'm going to say, hey, get your crap together and treat your teachers with respect that they deserve, okay? That is if my child is the problem. If the teacher is the problem, I'm going to say, hey, I'm paying you all this money in tax dollars, and you're doing a crappy job. Get your life together. That's what I'm going to say. But this woman has no way of knowing what was going on because she was never contacted. His grades were good, so I had no reason to believe anything was amiss there because she never once reached out to me, the mother explained, but noted that he does have a tendency to clown around and be disruptive and talk too much. Webster said, I'm a reasonable person and a fairly strict parent with no tolerance for disrespect and an understanding that teachers do not have time for repetitive disruption. So I also disciplined Brady at home when this happens. The teacher reportedly told detectives investigating the incident that children in her class thought it was funny. Webster maintains that her son was humiliated. Felix resigned on February 17th, 3 days after the incident. However, according to Webster, the teacher will not face criminal charges. Ultimately, it was agreed by the sheriff's department and the district attorney that the teacher should be charged with assault on a child under the age of 12. That the teacher should be charged with it. The mother said that charges will not be filed as the teacher will return to her home country. Guys, I know what you're thinking. Oh, this isn't even a big deal, Kendall. This isn't even the worst thing that I ever saw a kid have to deal with in public school. And that's my point. That right there is my point. For all of you who are going to sit there and say, oh, this isn't that big of a deal. Oh, he just got his mouth taped shut. Oh, that he didn't even get hurt. That's not even the biggest thing that I saw in public school. That's my point. That is exactly my point. Our tax dollars are going towards paying for these dangerous environments that our kids have to be in because we don't have any other choice. For the blue collar working man, we can't afford to send our kids to private school. We can't. It's too expensive. For the 1%, yeah, the 1% gets to choose. You know what I'm saying? They get to choose what they want to do. For us working men, for the 99%, we don't have any choice. For us, there absolutely is a monopoly on our kids' education. And it shows. It shows because if these public schools truly knew that, oh, there would be real punishment if I did this to this kid. Oh, there would be real punishment for me if I had a inappropriate adult relationship with this kid. Oh, if I knew that there was real punishment for showing this inappropriate book to this kid, if they knew that, then they wouldn't do it. Or they would try to do it secretly, and then they would probably get caught, and there would be punishment anyways. But the reality is that when you give these parents more rights to know what's going on in their kids or in their kids' lives at these schools, it gives them more freedom and it allows them to have more control over what's going on in their kids' lives, except the government wants to have that control. They don't want you to have that control because they want to be able to control what your kids are learning so that they can have control of your kids, so that they can have control of their agenda. Their agenda is to indoctrinate your kids into believing what they want them to believe so that they can get what they want. So that one day your kid will vote for them. And that seems like a big conspiracy, but it makes sense. It makes sense. These are the next voters. Think about it. These are the next voters. This kid's in 11-year-old. He's an 11-year-old. In 2 election cycles, he'll be voting. I believe 11. Yeah. He'll be in 8 years. He will be voting. He'll be voting for the next president. That's guys. That's one president away, and he'll be voting. It's important. The education of these kids is extremely important because it's an indoctrination tactic by these public schools, by the government. They want your kids to know what they want them to know. You see what I'm saying? They're pushing an agenda on your kids, and they don't want you to have any say in how they do it. And they do that by, oh, the 1% can have choice. The 1% can get what they want. That's fine. The 1% can always do what they want to do. But the 99%, the percentage that the government needs to have control of, they're always going to try to keep control of it. Always. And guys, we got to keep fighting back. Because like I said, if this isn't the worst that you've seen in public schools, That's exactly my point. If you saw fights every day in public school, guess what, dude? Your tax dollars are paying for that. Your tax dollars are paying for your kid to go to a place where they have a great chance of getting their head beaten in. Why do we have to pay for that? That's insane. Oh, here's another thing. We have our tax dollars are going to public schools where they have a great opportunity to get shot, to get killed by a mass shooter, because these public schools refuse to allow teachers to be armed and to protect themselves and to protect their kids that are in the classroom with them. And they continue to want to turn these public schools into sitting ducks. Turn these kids into, like, what do you think is going to happen when a psychopath walks in there with a gun? They're all going to die because no one has the ability to defend themselves against that much power. What do you think is going to happen? They're all going to die. And we're paying for it. Our tax dollars are paying for that. Our tax dollars are going to an environment where your kids will probably get their head beaten in, if not killed, by a mass shooter. Absolutely insane. We need universal school choice for our kids so that we can have control over what is going on in our kids' lives when it comes to their education. All right, I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will have another show coming for you on Wednesday. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. Share the show with your friends. Follow me on all those socials down in the description. If you liked my commentary on this, tell me about it down in the comment section. If you didn't like it, let's debate. Let's talk about it. Let's have a conversation in the comment section. Don't be a jerk about it because I'll block you. But if you want to have a conversation, I got all the time in the world. Let's talk about it. Love you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.